Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio Network. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And this morning, I am your host, Lillian Caldwell, and also your trainer for the podcast Obstacle Course Training Seminar, in which a person, either a student, middle school or high school, an adult, even a senior, can learn how to podcast and all its complexities and all of its complications and all of it that you need to learn how to do besides the basic skills of reading, following directions, and bringing them to their logical, precise conclusion. I've been asked about what my podcast training course is all about. And so I thought I would share with you some of the details. So when you sign up to take the podcasting obstacle training course, you will know what you are receiving. So again, welcome to the podcast obstacle training course, where we, you and I, delve into the art and science of podcasting. Podcasting is beyond just talking into a microphone with a filter so you don't hear the S's and the Z's coming out at the end of your sentences or at the end of your paragraphs. It's about hard work, continuous practice, and the ability to follow through on your actions and responsibilities to both yourself and your audience. So what are some of the highlights of the podcasting obstacle training course? Number one, you receive a certificate of completion. Upon successful completion of this course, you receive a certificate recognizing your achievement. Two, you receive podcast airtime. You'll be able to showcase your skills by airing 3 finished podcasts on Passionate World Talk Radio Network on 3 consecutive weeks. 3, an internship opportunity. Gain hands-on experience by working at the station for 3 months as an intern. And 4, it's a path for permanent hosting if you really want to succeed and you already have built up an audience with your content that nobody else has touched on or has expanded upon. Then you'll be asked to join PWTRN's hosting/podcast team and become a permanent host on PWTR. We've had a lot of people be quite successful, remaining at our station for 2 or 3 years and then going on to bigger and better things. One received a contract from CBS radio station. 2, one of our interns went on to not only be hired by PBS in their production department, but also at CBS. In fact, when he decided he could no longer work full-time, they told him, if we need you back, we will hire you again. And that's what happens. So every time they need someone like this particular person, this individual, they call him back and he goes back to work at their station. Pretty cool. A little about me. I have 19 years of podcasting experience and I'm passionate. And when you do a podcast, you must be passionate. You must care about what you're saying, how you say it, how you phrase it, and what you share with your potential listening audience. If you're not, your listeners will know. It's like picking up a book and reading the first chapter and then throwing it into the garbage can, because the words, however phrased, no matter how famous that person is, if it doesn't make sense to you, if you can't get into whatever they're saying, it's a waste of your time and it's a waste of the author's time as well. I transferred an internet talk radio station, started it in 2005 with no one knowing who I was, and 19 years later, we have over 10 million listeners and heard in 176 countries. Something that one needs to think about. Our target audience. This course caters to middle school and high school students. Yes, I can adapt podcasting skills to an educational curriculum in any public school, private school, charter school, homeschool, advanced education, because speaking clearly and presenting your ideas and writing and putting your ideas on paper is across the board everything you learn in any of the skills and educational topics that you are taught at school. And you take it with you when you go to college or university or even in a trade school. The 21st century is about verbal and visual communication. So whether you're just learning, setting out to learn how to do a podcast or enhance your skills, this course is designed for you. So what does it entail? Live QA sessions, questions and answers. At the end of each training session, engage in a Q&A session where you can ask questions and get more clear instructions of how to do certain things, because nobody hatches out of an egg immediately and does things right. You get a workbook so you can put your notes in it and restudy it at another time. If you forget something, you can open up your workbook and read what you've already written. It's a downloadable PDF, so you'll be able to have it with you at all times. And then there's the ability to talk, interactions. Students are encouraged to ask questions during the chat using Zoom or StreamYard sessions. Additional details, everybody wants those. Payment options. Payments can be made via QR code or on PayPal. One-on-one coaching, personal coaching while practicing with a partner is recommended. The course duration, expect approximately 30 to 45 minutes to cover the recordings. And then at the end, you will actually have to stand up, look at me, and put together and say back to me what you've just learned and put your own spin on it, because nobody can just go cold into a podcast. They have to practice what information they glean, what information is heard. So why podcast? Well, people have a lot of different opinions. To share opinions, be heard, establish a reputation, demonstrate your expertise, provide valuable resource, interview guests, gain exposure worldwide, express passion, offer opinions, provide advice, teach how-tos, educate, enlighten, entertain. And what are the benefits of taking the podcast obstacle training course? Live interactive training. Engage directly with the trainer, that's me, during the live sessions. First-hand training, practical experience to enhance your skills. Personal coaching, receive personalized guidance. A certificate, validate your achievement. Internship, gain real-world experience. Interactive learning, learn at your own pace. Practice sessions, honing your skills. Avoid mistakes, learn from experienced podcasters, and establish your reputation and become a recognized expert in your field. Build trust and loyalty. Connect authentically with your audience. Effective communication. Master writing, speaking, and body and voice language. Problem solving and critical thinking. Sharpen your abilities. Confidence and presentation skills. Present with an impact. So what do you learn? 1, more than a microphone. Explore the 5 types of podcasts. Understand the importance of podcast names and episode titles. Learn about research, copyright, and podcast format templates. 2, the 7 C's of communication. Communicate clearly, concisely, and courteously. Ensure coherence, correctness, and completeness. 3, the interview. Interviewing a guest. Use the 5 W's. Who, what, where, when, why, and sometimes how. Manage time limits and redirection. Spotlight the guest. And then you may be asked to go on somebody else's podcast. So being interviewed as a guest, know your material, practice effective speaking, and enunciate clearly. 4, podcast preparation. Create a podcast template. Take effective notes. Identify keywords and phrases and script your content. 5, studio and equipment. Understand software and hardware requirements. Choose the right microphone, filter, and lighting. Set up soundproofing. Learn about editing and operational expenses. 6, platforms. Utilize social media and podcast platforms. Develop a website. Record and distribute your podcasts. Focus. Platforms. There are 6 of them. Social media. Utilize social media platforms to promote your podcast and engage your audience. Podcast platforms. Choose the right podcast hosting platform to publish and distribute your episode. Or go work with a well-known internet talk radio station network like Passionate World Talk Radio Network. Website. Create a dedicated website for your podcast to showcase episodes, provide additional content, and connect with your listeners. 4, recording. Learn about recording techniques, equipment, and software to produce high-quality podcasts. 5, video recording. Explore video podcasting options to enhance your content and reach a broader audience. 6, distribution. Develop a strategy for distributing your podcast across various platforms and podcast directories. 7, marketing/promotion. Promote your podcast effectively to attract listeners and build a loyal audience. Paperwork. Didn't think there would be a lot of paperwork involved, but you're wrong. 1, put together a business plan. Outline your podcast guests, goals, target audience, revenue model, and marketing strategy. Write up a budget plan. Create a budget to manage expenses relating to equipment, hosting, and marketing. 3, a host contract. Draft a contract for hosting guests on your podcast, covering topics like rights, compensation, and expectations. 4, a guest contract. Prepare a contract for guests appearing on your podcast, specifying terms and permissions. 5, thank you notes. Show appreciation for your guests and collaborators through personalized thank you notes. 6, networking. Build connections with the podcasting community and collaborate with other creators. 7, podcast organizations. Explore joining podcasting organizations or associations for networking and resources. 8, welcome letter. Send a warm welcome to a new podcast guest, providing essential information and expectations. 9, podcast explanation to guests. Clearly communicate your podcast purpose, format, and guidelines to potential guests. And then there's always the miscellaneous. 1, monetization. Explore ways to monetize your podcast, such as sponsorships, ads, or listening supports. Sponsorships. Partner with relative sponsors to fund your podcast and promote their products and services. Co-hosts. Consider having co-hosts to bring diverse perspectives and share your hosting responsibilities. Commercials. Incorporate short commercials or promotional spots within your podcast episode. And that's how you learn to set up your timing for the length and where you insert your commercials or ads and your identification of your station. Advertisements. Explore advertising opportunities to generate revenue. Affiliates. Partner with affiliate programs. Design eye-catching podcast cover art and episodes thumbnails to attract listeners. Remember, podcasting, successful podcasting involves a combination PW Passionate World Talk Radio.com. Thank you very much and have a wonderful